Yeah, what's going on?
Wow.
Hello. I gotta move the mic kind of out of my face. It is warm in here.
It is warm in
I
here.
hate that.
Yep.
It's fucking so bright. Warm in here.
Overall,
Anyway,
just falling apart.
Yeah, hello. My name is Fred Stewart. Welcome to Hot Graves and Omens. With me, as always, my lovely co-host, Tay.
Hello.
Hello, Tay.
How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm kind of hungover.
I was going to say, how are you feeling from last night?
I'm a little sweaty on top of it being warm. A little hungover, and that's why I'm drinking a beer. But with us, running the cameras, running sound, is Marty Cowick. Well, that's... Marty, you look different. You get a haircut? Huh. So, Marty is not here. It's just
Really?
us. It's I don't know. It looks pretty convincing.
I could tell.
That's awesome. No, so Marty is in New Mexico, had just played a show on my birthday, which was yesterday. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I'm going to die. So,
Jesus.
that being said, but he's not here, so we decided to do a super fun episode without him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Joke's on you, Marty.
yeah, Marty, fuck you. So, Tay, what are we covering this week?
We're going to be covering Dr. Death, who is a doctor from Texas. This was actually fairly recent, back in 2015. And I hate everything about it.
Cool.
But I don't know if you remember the
Dr. Death.
just the mass scandal when all of this came out.
I mean, briefly, there's a lot going on in 2015.
Yeah, that's true. I want to say it was 2015. It's 2017 is when he was convicted, but I think he lost his license a little before that. But yeah.
Yeah, 2015. I was just sort of my one of my favorite bands. We're just kind of hanging out, just doing the going to shows. And then here I am, almost 30-something, and with the podcasting network.
Yeah.
So that shows you whether or not to follow your dreams as a musician. Just start podcasting. That's
just start now.
just start now. It's the way. But I do briefly remember this case, so I think it'll be a nice little refresher.
Yeah, I remember in 2017 there's a very in-depth podcast that had came out back around then that went into such heavy detail about this case, and I remember listening to that on my way to work all the time.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very insane and in-depth podcast. It was fucking 10 parts or something like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Ours is not gonna be 10 parts.
Part number 1, he did it.
Part number
Part
2,
number 2,
he did it again.
yeah, that's we're so bad at podcasting.
I think we're great.
Yeah.
We're fantastic.
Y'all are listening to this and watching it because we love you for it.
Yeah, it's fun. I have fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't care if nobody's listening or nobody's watching. I mean, I do care, but we do it for the love of it, man. Mm-hmm. And if you love it, stay with us, because if you don't, I'll fucking blow my brains out.
Excuse me?
You can't leave. Nah, I'm kidding. But let's get into Dr. Death.
All right. So Christopher Daniel Dunch.
Dunch?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. How would you pronounce that last name?
Dunch.
It's Dunch. He was born April 3rd of 1971.
Oh, happy birthday.
He is a former American neurosurgeon who has been nicknamed Dr. D and Dr. Death for some gross malpractice resulting in the maiming of several patients' spines and 2 deaths while working at the hospitals in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Happy birthday. The difference between Dr. D and Dr. Death is about 8 inches. So
I was gonna say one's a porn star name and one is like a like a fucking, I don't even know how to describe it.
one's a porn star name and one is something that you name after a monster truck. It's Dr. Death with Gravedigger. It's badass. But no, it's really fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dunch was accused of injuring 33 out of 38 patients in less than 2 years before his license was revoked by the Texas Medical Board.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2017, he'd been convicted of maiming one of his patients and was sentenced to life imprisonment.
Jeez.
So we're going to go into his early life.
He was just a boy when he learned that he liked to cut things open.
So, I mean, probably. So Christopher Dunch was born in Montana and spent most of his youth in Memphis, Tennessee. His father, Donald, was a physical therapist and Christian missionary, and his mother, Susan, was a school teacher. He is a graduate of Evangelical Christian School in the Cordova suburb of Memphis.
There you have it. The Christians are out here killing people in surgery. Surprise. I'm just kidding. I have no idea what's going on.
So Christopher Dunch was a football player for the Evangelical Christian School.
Oh, shit.
Dunch initially attended Millsaps College to play Division III college football.
Oh, shit.
And then later transferred to Division I, Colorado State University.
He played in Colorado State? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah. Former teammates had later said that Dunch trained hard, but he lacked talent.
Oh, tail all this time. It's just like me.
What do you mean?
I train really hard, but I lack the talent.
Stop. Stop.
I lack it.
No.
Only lack I'm doing is Tatum. Now, let's...
I'm fucking sorry. What?
Who are you talking about?
So fellow Colorado State linebacker Chris Dozois recalled watching Dunch struggle through basic drills, pleading with the coaches to run them again until he got them right. Quote, he'd go through, he'd screw it up again.
Listen, I mean, I admire the tenacity, though.
Yeah.
You know, like where he's fucking it up and he's not doing a very good job, but he's wanting it and he's trying to better himself. You know, as a head coach like myself, you know, that's the biggest thing with my players is I want them to, you know, kind of just be all they can be, you know, even when they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, I think we've had a great season this year, and I'm hoping that, you know, we'll see how the playoffs go. All right.
All right. So Dunch had then returned home to attend Memphis State University, which is now the University of Memphis. Wow, big name change.
It's a huge name change. Name change. The age. Got a lot going on. I got a lot of booze that I drink. Where am I?
Home, probably.
Probably. I don't like that. Marty had a really fun dream that I died, so I don't know. I could be dead.
You are not. I promise you
but,
that.
We're gonna get off track for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say some true crime news. Did you hear about the serial killer that is happening in Chicago?
Yes, I did.
There's a serial killer in Chicago. So we have any listeners in Chicago, like I believe we do. Stay safe out there, okay?
Yeah.
And if you are the serial killer and you listen to the show, email us at HGOPodcast@gmail.com. Okay, get to it.
So we're gonna jump into the medical training that Dunch has received.
Dunch.
Yeah. His name fucking makes me laugh.
I wonder if
what the fuck is that last
I mean,
name?
he became a doctor, which there was a possibility that he was a total dude bro at one point.
Probably.
And like I bet he was like, it's like slams a beer and he's like, Dunched it, like fucking like, Dunched it.
Oh. I hate everything about that.
I'm gonna peak sex appeal.
Did you spill it?
Yes.
Oh.
It's comedic effect. So comedy is very complex, right? There's many layers to it. Not everybody's gonna understand a comedy. Tay, and that's simply okay that you choose to not understand.
I choose to not understand. Yeah.
How this comedy. Marty, come on. See, he knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh no.
Oh, what was that? Oh yeah, dude, totally. Yeah. It's so funny. Anyway,
Every time you come back, it just gets me again.
it's so funny.
So, having exhausted his football eligibility, Dunch decided to switch to a career in medicine. He completed his undergraduate degree in 1995, then continued to go on to a ambitious MD PhD program.
Mm-hmm.
In 2010, he completed the MD PhD and neurosurgery residency programs at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center, and subsequently completed a spine fellowship program at the Semmes Murphy Clinic in Memphis. So
he's a smart guy.
You would think. Dunch completed his residency having participated in fewer than 100 surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, neurosurgeon residents participate in over 1,000 surgeries over the course of their residency.
Oh, wow. So was it just like the lack of having him not doing it? Or I wonder if it was just like there wasn't the need for it.
I wonder if there was a slip where they just didn't realize how few surgeries he did.
Yeah.
Because less than 100 surgeries versus all the other residents who do 1,000 surgeries is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically the surgeon right now.
I'm sorry, have you participated in surgery?
You want to try that one again? They're fucking...
No. I said what I said.
Surgeries? Surgeries?
What's the cartoon where he just repeats things, get the words out?
I think in a Porky Pig, we goes,
Maybe.
That's
No.
all, folks. No?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember, but...
Or are you thinking of the chicken? The rooster guy.
Maybe it's the...
Yosemite,
I think
it's Yosemite Sam.
No, it's not Yosemite Sam, but yes, I think I'm thinking of the chicken.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the chicken. It sounded like him just trying to get out participated.
Marty?
That's a really good input, Marty. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was kind of weird that you had to go on the whole tangent about Bud Light, but whatever, dude. Honestly, it's cool.
So during his residency in 2006, the hospital received an anonymous phone call claiming that Dunch liked to do drugs prior to operating.
Who doesn't?
Most doctors.
Pretty lame. Bunch of loser doctors, maybe.
So hospital admin sent him down to employee health to get his urine checked. He told them he couldn't pee then and then would return in an hour. Instead, he disappeared for a few days. Upon returning, he was required to attend the impaired physicians group, and he was permitted to finish his residency, but was not allowed to operate on his own. Several of his friends recalled him going to work after a night doing drugs, with one of them saying he would never allow Dunch to operate on him.
Well, yeah. I mean, sure, he's a cool guy, right? And he likes to party a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to party a little bit, unless you're a fucking neurosurgeon.
Sorry.
Unless you're a neurosurgeon, right? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Like a Gatorade? Mm-hmm. Marty?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, probably should not be doing drugs before a surgery or doing a drug all night.
Well, I mean, just do it after the surgery. It's like a little treat, you know?
That's his treat.
That's your little treat for being a good little surgeon. You go, I saved him. I'm looking at that other doctor's name.
Which one?
Later on. That one. Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So the University of Tennessee said that it could not comment on Dunch, citing the confidentiality and privacy of medical students' records. But Dr. Frederick Boop.
I'm Dr. Boop. I'm Dr. Boop. Boop. Your husband was killed in a car crash.
Jesus Christ.
I'm Dr. Boop. Your family was killed in a fire. And sorry to say that no one made it out alive.
Jesus Christ.
Dr. Boop.
So Dr. Boop was chief of neurosurgery at the hospital where Dunch did his residency, and he appears to have known about Dunch's substance abuse.
Nice.
But didn't do anything about it.
He's the one who keeps giving me drugs to sound like a cartoon character. I'm Dr. Boop.
So while he was in Memphis, Dunch began a long-term relationship with Wendy Renee Young, and they have 2 sons together.
Oh, that's not cute.
And then
Dog hair on the mic.
they got together, and he finished out his all of his stuff, all of his medical training, and then in 2006, Christopher Dunch actually, before he moved to neurosurgery, he in 2006 led a research team with 2 Russian stem cell scientists, Valery Kukov and Tatiana Ignatova, and they...
Bless you.
Jesus Christ.
It wasn't that good of a joke.
But it still got
Well, that's
me.
the thing about comedy is it's subjective, and that's what people don't understand.
Listen.
Just fuck it. It's subjective.
All over your shirt.
It actually feels nice because it's nice and cold. It's so fucking hot in here.
I love the jokes where you're just like, bless you. I love it. I think it's fucking ridiculous. And it's my favorite. You did it to yourself.
Yeah.
So they had created a method for culturing the stem cells of intervertebral discs outside of the body. And working with Kukov and Ignatova, Dunch filed a patent for the technology and went on to work raising money for a company he called Discgenics. Dunch had filed the patent listing himself along with the Russian scientists as the inventors of Discgenics technology, but Kukov told D Magazine that, quote, it wasn't his invention. It was the invention of me and my wife, who was Ignatova, because we made all the primary experiments. We discovered it. So someone is taking credit for something that they should not.
No.
A man taking credit for something a woman did has never happened.
I actually wrote this episode. A lot of people don't know that. Just letting Taylor read it,
Yeah.
Give her something to do.
Which is surprising because I can't read.
Because, idle hands sin, so...
Yeah. So one of the early investors in Discgenics, Rand Page, said that he was initially impressed with how Dunch presented himself and the company. But as time passed, Page became wary of his new business partner. Quote, we would meet in the mornings and he would be mixing a vodka orange juice to start off the day.
This guy is awesome, man. I mean, he's a piece of shit, but he's pretty cool.
He's like not growing out of his like party face.
Yeah, dude, like just making some screwballs in the morning, fucking, just hit it up, dude,
I mean,
a screwdriver, not a screwball.
Screwball's the peanut butter one, right?
Yeah, screwdriver. That's what I was thinking of.
We've now changed the name from a screwdriver to a screwball. And
You don't know.
so
No one knows.
Page said that he once stopped by Dunch's house to pick up some paperwork, and he opened a desk drawer to find a mirror with cocaine and a rolled up dollar bill sitting on top
So
of it.
he's the coolest doctor on the planet. Understood.
Dunch, who had listed himself as the founder, president, and chief science officer at Discgenics, was sued by the former chief operating officer in 2011 and removed from that role, as well as his seat on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So they kicked him out.
Understandable.
Honestly, I mean, I think from what I read, it was a combination of things, but the drug problem was a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, why would you go through all that just to like become a doctor and all shit just to do drugs while doing it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems kind of, like a waste.
I mean, yeah, it definitely is. It's a waste of his money and time and all that shit. But initially, I was combining Dunch and initially in my brain.
Initially.
So
Dunch.
He focused heavily on the PhD half of his degree. His name appeared on several papers and patents, and he took part in a number of biotech startups. However, by the time he met Young, Dunch was over $500,000 in debt, which is a lot. And this is before he became a doctor.
Yeah, that's a little spicy. That's a lot of debt.
Or like this is before he went into neurosurgery. So this is after he got his degree. He just put himself into some major debt.
It's expensive to learn things.
Yeah, it is. So he decided to turn to neurosurgery, which can be a pretty lucrative field.
What?
And in 2011, Dunch moved to Dallas. He persuaded Young to come with him, and Young agreed since she had grown up in the Dallas area.
Mm-hmm.
In the first stages of his 6-year residency, he focused on research. So he did less than 100 surgeries in 6 years.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
That's not a lot. This man was not doing surgeries like at all.
No, that's a very surprising amount, like low amount.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I could probably do like more surgeries in 6 years than he did.
Yeah.
And I have.
Oh no. How'd they turn out?
Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
All my patients have no complaints.
Are they alive?
All my patients have no complaints.
So, as D Magazine reported in 2016, the department chairman, Dr. John Robertson, appointed Dunch program director of the school's tissue bank, where he'd supply samples to scientists and oversee 2 labs. As the program director, Dunch wrote grants and secured funding for his research projects. So, I mean, like, on paper, he looked pretty qualified. Like, he looks like a good dude. Like, he did his residency. He did, like, all these researches. Yeah. We'll soon find out that he is not extremely qualified.
Yeah.
So he had spent about 15 years in training between medical school, residency, and fellowship. And his curriculum vitae was 12 single-spaced pages. Dunch also claimed to have graduated magna cum laude from St. Jude's Research Hospital.
Magna cum laude.
I knew that was going to get you.
Yeah. Magna cum laude. Or like magna cum laude, am I right?
I figured that's where that was going to go.
I don't know. I'm just trying to spitball here.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense. Because, like, that one's a hard one to, like, make into a joke, but it's definitely you want to make it into a joke.
Yeah. It's got the word cum in it.
Yeah.
The word laude.
Yeah.
It's fun. A lot of fun words. It's got magna in it.
That's just lava.
Make America good.
Night.
Good nice again.
Make America good night again.
Make America good night again.
So he graduated with a doctorate in microbiology, which is a program that the hospital did not offer at the time he allegedly attended.
Huh.
Yeah, a little sketchy there. Dunch joined Baylor Regional Medical Center at Plano as a minimally invasive spine surgeon with a salary of $600,000 per year plus bonuses.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah.
Give me
That's a-
$600K a year.
God, that sounds fucking wonderful.
Minimally
right?
invasive spine surgeon.
Yeah. So
I can do that. Just like don't go too far. That's it.
they do the little incision and then they go in.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I can.
super fucking weird.
I can do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, just let me try.
Okay.
Let me try.
I mean, honestly, you probably can't do half as bad as this man did. Like,
Well, yeah.
So Dunch was very full of himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very full of himself. Emails reveal that Dunch described himself as a, quote, supernova sophisticated savant and, quote, the best fucking surgeon and scientist at every fucking thing I decide I want to be.
Except for being a football player and being a surgeon and being a good person.
Yeah.
And probably a good dad, I assume. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
He stated he arrived in Dallas to, quote, do my thing, build my empire, party and fuck with models without knowing their names and to make money.
Literally the coolest guy. Literally the coolest guy ever. Well, he's like, this is like some Wolf of Wall Street shit, but for fucking like surgeons.
It really fucking
Like,
is.
build my empire, fuck bitches, get money, and maybe do a little coke, whatever.
Like, he's so full of himself.
Yeah, excuse me.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, again, his self-worship was on full display in a 2011 email shortly after he began to injure his patients. Quote, anyone close to me thinks that I'm likely something between God, Einstein, and the Antichrist.
No, we just kind of think you're a dork.
Quote, because I can do anything I want, cross every discipline boundary like it's a playground and never ever lose. What I'm being is what I am, one of a kind, a motherfucking stone cold killer that can buy or own or steal or ruin or build whatever he wants.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fucking get it, dude. Honestly, dude, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, how about you build me out of some fucking debt, bro? How about that? That sounds cool.
I mean, 1 year that his pay for 1 year is more than his debt.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
But he don't really deserve it, I don't think.
Is it after taxes though?
No, that would be before taxes. So he probably would have made like 400 something.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I imagine like if you're making 3 or 6 figures like that, you probably get taxed pretty heavily. But I think he'd still probably be making 400 something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know taxes. I don't know how to.
If anybody out there is a surgeon and they make that much money, please email us at HGOPodcast@gmail.com. I just want to talk.
We're just really curious about how much you like make after.
I'll suck your dick for $300,000.
Oh my god. So early in his tenure at Baylor Plano, Dunch made a poor impression on his fellow surgeons. Veteran vascular surgeon Randall Kirby recalled that Dunch frequently boasted about his abilities despite being so new to the area. Mm-hmm. Kirby also recalled that Dunch's skills in the operating room left much to be desired. Mm-hmm. As Kirby put it, quote, he could not wield a scalpel.
That's kind of like the major thing you have to be able to do as a surgeon.
Yep, really is. So Dunch continued to abuse illicit and prescription drugs like OxyContin, Xanax, Lortab, etc., as well as alcohol during his time working for Baylor. The Morgulov complaint states that Dunch's pattern seemed to be use cocaine for 2 to 4 days in a row, all while performing surgeries on helpless victims, and that would be followed by 1 or 2 days of crashing. The complaint states that Baylor did not perform routine drug tests on Dunch, nor did they investigate his odd behavior.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of people are complicit in this.
Oh, yeah. No,
like everybody.
It is not just him.
Yeah, like all these fucking hospitals, they're absolutely at fault.
Yes.
Because everybody else is like, hey, fuckers, this dude is a serious, well-known problem. He's definitely high on coke right now. And then the hospital's like, honestly, Nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many things you can do about it.
The craziest thing is that after his medical license was suspended, drugs, drug paraphernalia, and alcohol were found in his office at Baylor.
Nice.
So had they have done any sort of investigation at all into his behavior, they would have found something.
Found a fucking crack pipe in the drawer, like whatever, man.
Like, the hospitals that he performed surgeries at are definitely just as much at fault. And we'll discuss some of that more later.
Yeah.
Of just how many things they fucked up. So we're going to talk about some of the surgeries at Baylor Plano that he maimed these patients. So Kenneth Fennell, the first patient that Dunch operated on at Baylor Plano, was left with chronic pain after Dunch operated on the wrong part of his back. Due to debilitating pain, Fennell later had a second surgery by Dunch to relieve it and was left significantly paralyzed in his legs. Fennell required months of rehabilitation to be able to walk with a cane and was left unable to walk for more than 30 feet or stand for more than a few minutes without having to sit down again.
Okay, so he's not as much as a cool guy as I thought he was.
No.
Now, that's fucking insane.
His first surgery.
So, what I don't understand is, like, he fucked up the first surgery, so now
Right.
I'm going to go get a second one by the same guy?
I guess.
No. Absolutely not.
I don't know everything on why this guy went back to Dunch.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't realize that Dunch had operated on the wrong part of his back.
I don't know.
I don't know. So the next person was Lee Passmore, who is a Collin County medical investigator. He experienced chronic pain and limited mobility after Dunch cut a ligament, which was normally not touched during that particular procedure, misplaced hardware in his spine, placed a screw, which kept the hardware in place in an incorrect location in his spine, and stripped the threads so it could not be removed.
What?
Yeah. Even if Dunch had not stripped the threads, he placed the screw in a location that would have caused Passmore to bleed out had it been removed. Vascular surgeon Mark Hoyle, who assisted with the operation, later recalled that Dunch seemed oblivious to considerable bleeding. Hoyle became so disturbed by Dunch's actions that at one point he physically restrained him. He later told Dunch to his face that he was dangerous, and Dunch's behavior led Hoyle to wonder about his sanity.
Jesus, man. And, like, after that, like, the hospital doesn't go, like, we should look into this guy.
No. They let him keep performing.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
The next one is Barry Morgoloff. Morgoloff ran a pool service company. He had worn out his back working in his father's import business, helping to unload trucks. Quote, "It took a toll on my back, even with back supports and exercise and a strong core," Morgoloff said. His pain returned after an earlier back surgery, and the surgeon recommended him exercise and weight loss, but not another procedure. A pain specialist gave Morgoloff Dunch's card. Quote, "Everything that I read when we first got his card, outstanding reviews, people loved him. I read everything I could about this guy." Morgoloff set up an appointment and found himself pretty impressed by Dunch's easy confidence. Quote, "Phenomenal, great guy, loved him." Most importantly, he added, quote, "I was in pain and somebody, a neurosurgeon, said, 'I can fix you.'" So his surgery, which was an anterior lumbar spinal fusion, took place on January 11th of 2012 at the request of a head and neck surgeon also on the case. The vascular surgeon assisting Dunch was Kirby. Kirby said it should have been a routine case. In the spectrum of what a neurosurgeon does for a living, doing an anterior lumbar fusion procedure is probably the easiest thing they do on a daily basis. But Dunch quickly got into trouble. Instead of using a scalpel, he tried to pull Morgulof's problem disc with a grabbing instrument that could damage the bone.
That made me squirm.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And in doing so, he left bone fragments in this man's spine. Kirby said he argued with Dunch, even offered to take over, but Dunch insisted that he knew what he was doing, and Kirby left the room. Dunch initially refused to give Morguloff any pain medication, claiming Morguloff was a drug seeker.
You just did surgery on his fucking back. What are you talking about?
Up.
And you fucked it up. And he's just like, you're a drug seeker. It's like, what?
This is coming from the man who abuses drugs on the regular, too.
You're a drug addict.
I'm not a drug addict. You are.
You're a drug addict.
Like, what?
I'll take your Oxycontin from you.
I'll prescribe it, but you're not getting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Morguloff eventually lost most of the function on his left side and required a wheelchair. Kirby, who assisted with the surgery, recalled that Dunch continued making mistakes even after having the correct anatomy pointed out to him. Morguloff later recalled that he walked out on a follow-up visit with Dunch when Dunch displayed clear signs of being inebriated.
Oh, dude. Why? This makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
instead of us yelling that the cops are fucking stupid, these hospitals are fucking stupid.
Hospitals, stupid. We're banning all hospitals. You hear that?
We're banning the hospitals.
We're going to defund the hospitals. Defund the hospitals. Defund the hospitals. Defund the surgeons.
I mean, defund the bad surgeons. So
ASAB. ASAB. All surgeons are bastards.
Not all surgeons.
You're a fucking scalpel licker, dude. Fucking scalpel licker, bro. I'm fucking out here sucking on scrubs, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
So this one is the most fucked up to me, I think.
Okay.
This is Jerry Summers, who is a longtime friend of Dunch's. So he came to Plano to have a two-neck vertebrae fused. During the operation, after Dunch botched the removal of the disc, Summers was rendered a quadriplegic.
Oh my God.
Dunch performed a second surgery, and to try to stop the bleeding, Dunch packed the space with so much of the anticoagulant gel foam that it constricted his spine. And then Dunch removed so much of his bone that Summers' head was no longer secure to his body.
What the fuck is happening?
The anesthesiologist who worked with the surgery recalled that Summers lost almost 1,200 milliliters of blood, which is more than a fifth of his blood volume, and almost 24 times the typical amount of blood lost in a spinal fusion. Yeah.
Okay.
The nurse.
I'm at a loss for words right now.
I know.
That's
the fact that this just keeps happening, and the hospitals are not doing anything.
So far, he's maimed somebody. He's maimed another person. Now
3 people.
Now he just paralyzed somebody.
Yes, his friend. By the way.
Longtime friend.
The nurses and other staffers who took part in the surgery fully expected Summers to have a revision surgery, but Dunch refused to do it.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the 2014 testimony of best friend Jerry Summers' ex-girlfriend Megan Kane, she said that on Dunch's birthday, either in 2006 or 2007, they had witnessed him, or they'd spent the whole night celebrating with LSD, alcohol, and cocaine, and she witnessed him use cocaine both at night and in the morning before he left for rounds at the hospital. The nurse who Summers talked to reported Dunch to the higher-ups at the hospital, Baylor Plano began a peer review and told Dunch they wanted him to undergo a drug screen. He showed up for his drug test but told him he didn't have his ID. Therefore, he was unable to complete the test.
What?
Other accounts say that Dunch claimed to have gotten lost on his way to the testing facility. No, he got lost. Obviously. Yeah. So he took a leave of absence from the hospital and did not take the drug test until 3 days later, which was 5 days after Jerry Summers' botched surgery.
Just enough time for the drugs to leave his system.
Yep. This would have been enough time for the drugs to leave his system, and Baylor Plano officials were concerned enough to force Dunch on leave pending a peer review. While Dunch was cleared to resume operating, while the review was underway, hospital officials asked him to limit himself to minor surgeries until it was complete. Summers subsequently admitted that the cocaine claim was untrue, and he said that he was upset that Dunch refused to check on him. Summers did remain a quadriplegic for the rest of his life, and he passed in 2021 of an infection related to complications from Dunch's operation.
Jesus, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Fuck. Hard fought.
Yeah. So whether or not this claim was true or untrue, it's a little bit suspicious that he disappeared for 3 days.
He was definitely,
He was definitely on something.
yeah.
And how they didn't like just, I don't know what they could have done.
You know what they do at my work is if you go like, hey, you need to take a drug test, and you go, yeah, and you don't do it in 24 hours, you get fired.
Well, yeah, that makes sense to me.
We just handle fucking bags.
Yeah.
Like we're driving like, moderately heavy equipment, but nothing insane, Yeah. And this dude is literally playing with people's lives, and they're like, well, you just do small surgeries.
Yeah, just do minor surgeries.
No, you're fired.
Heavy.
You're fired, and we're gonna fucking pull your card, and we're gonna get you removed from the fucking board. No.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's actually just insane.
Yeah.
So Kelly Martin is his next victim, essentially. Kelly Martin was undergoing a routine back operation when Dunch cut through her spinal cord and severed an artery. Dunch continued operating despite clear signs that Martin was losing massive amounts of blood. He refused to abort the surgery even after a trauma surgeon colleague and anesthesiologist warned him about the blood loss. He refused to acknowledge anything was wrong, hindering the ICU team's efforts to save her. When Martin awoke from anesthesia, she was screaming and clawing at her legs, forcing the ICU team to re-anesthetize her. Dunch also stayed out of the ICU waiting room, writing notes rather than attending to his patient, and even after Martin went into hemorrhagic cardiac arrest, and Martin ultimately bled to death.
Wow.
So that's his first death.
First death. That's killed somebody.
And he was writing notes.
And they're still letting him operate. He's still going to continue to operate.
Yeah, so...
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah. So the true story behind Dr. Death, which I believe is a TV show, reveals that Dunch exploited a loophole. Following the 2 botched surgeries, one that left his best friend, Jerry Summers, a quadriplegic, and the other that resulted in the death of Kelly Martin, a committee at Baylor determined that Dunch had failed to meet the hospital standard of care. No fucking shit. Dunch realized that he was about to be fired. This meant the hospital would be required to report him to the National Practitioners Data Bank, which is a database ran by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that allows hospitals to track bad doctors. The database can only be accessed by hospital administrators. However, by reassigning, he knew that the hospital would not report him, and his databank entry would remain clean. He was subsequently hired by Dallas Medical Center and was allowed to perform surgeries while they waited for Baylor to send over his records.
Wow. This is fucking. This freaks me out more so. I haven't had to get a major surgery in a long time, but I hate like the fact of surgeries like that.
Yeah.
Or just any surgery, because I'm like, I don't know, you can just kill me, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. This story is why I'm terrified to get a surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been since fucking 2017. Like when this all broke, I was like,
yeah.
Guess what I don't like?
Yeah, I don't like
Doctors.
this at all.
Fucking do not like it.
Do not like it at all.
Yeah. I also don't understand. So it says the hospital would be required to report him if they fired him, right? Can they not report him if he resigns? Whatever.
I guess not.
Or if they can, did they just not do it?
It's probably that. They probably just didn't do it. I mean, they let him fucking skate by for so long as is, you know?
It just, to me, is insane that they wouldn't report it, even though he resigned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like probably should have reported it to someone and been like, hey,
anyone, yeah.
You might want to, like, check this guy out.
Probably. But, I mean, they've done such a good job trying to save people's lives so far.
Yeah, obviously.
So why would they try to do that?
I don't fucking know. Assistant Dallas County District Attorney Michelle Shugart said that hospitals don't want to destroy a doctor's reputation. Attorney Kay Van Way told American Greed that hospitals are reluctant to report physicians because they could face greater damages from a doctor suing them for being wrongly reported than from a patient claiming to be badly treated. Texas's tort reform laws limit the amount a patient can sue a doctor to $250,000.
Wild.
So in Texas, if you are injured by a doctor, you can only get $250,000 back, even if you're left paralyzed.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we even talking about?
Quote, it's just easier for the hospital to just kick the can down the road and let the doctor become some other hospital's problem than to risk backlash from the doctor, according to Van Way. Which to me doesn't make any fucking sense.
No. Get backlash from the doctor and be like, like, dude, you literally killed somebody.
Like, yeah, I don't understand.
You're gonna fire me? Wow, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. It's like you were smoking, you were doing drugs in your office and then you killed somebody.
You were doing cocaine, like,
and then you paralyzed 3 people.
Yeah.
So we're the bad guys or you're the bad guy?
Yeah. But apparently...
Both of you.
Easier just to kick him down the road and risk a $250,000 settlement.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
To me, it doesn't make any sense, but this is Texas, I guess. So
yeah.
Dunch moved to Dallas Medical Center in Farmers Branch, where he was granted temporary privileges until hospital officials could retain his records from Baylor Plano. However, red flags surfaced very early on, as nurses wondered if Dunch was under the influence of drugs while on duty. For instance, he came to work wearing the same tattered scrubs for 3 days in a row. With that, there was I want to say it was another doctor, only noticed because Dunch wasn't wearing underwear.
Okay.
And the hole was like where his underwear should be. And that's the only way that they noticed, or that particular doctor noticed.
Oh, great.
That he was just wearing these like tattered.
He's not wearing his usual thong. Interesting.
So he lasted at Dallas Medical Center for less than a week before administrators pulled his privileges after the death of a patient and the maiming of another. So on July 24th of 2012, Dunch operated on Floella Brown, who was 64. She was a banker about to retire after a long career. She'd come to Dunch for a cervical spine surgery to ease her worsening neck and shoulder pain. And about a half hour into the surgery, Dunch started to complain that he was having trouble seeing her spine. Quote, he was saying, "There's so much blood. I can't see this," said Kyle Kissinger, who was an operating room nurse. He kept telling the scrub tech, suck more, get the blood out of there. I can't see. That's really concerning to me because not only if he can't do it correctly when he can't see, but why is it still bleeding?
Mm-hmm.
Brown bled so much the blood was saturating the blue, draping around her body and dripping onto the floor.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And
So-
he didn't stop.
Punctured a fucking artery or something.
Mm-hmm. The nursing staff put towels down to soak up the blood, and after the operation, Brown woke up and seemed fine. But early the next morning, she lost consciousness, and pressure was building up inside her brain for reasons that were unclear at the time. Dunch had severed Brown's vertebral artery, and he refused to abort despite the massive blood loss. He then packed it with too much of that anticoagulant gel intended to stop the bleeding, and she suffered a stroke as a result.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And the hospital are just letting him.
I'm never getting surgery in Texas.
Yeah. So Dunch did not respond to messages from the hospitals for a few hours, and then the next day scheduled an elective surgery on Ufred rather than caring for Brown, who at the time was still alive. Hospital officials were exasperated when Dunch refused to delay Ufred's surgery and asked him multiple times to care for Brown or transfer her out of his care. Dunch suggested drilling a hole in Brown's head to relieve the pressure, but was refused permission. Not only was he not qualified for and held no privileges to perform brain surgery, but Dallas Medical did not have proper equipment or personnel for such an operation. Brown was left in a coma for hours before Dunch finally agreed to transfer her out of his care. By this time, however, Brown was brain dead.
Jesus, man.
The next day, Dunch arrived at the hospital about 45 minutes after Ufred's surgery had been set to start, according to Kissinger. He's the one who spotted the hole in Dunch's scrubs for the 3 days straight. Quote, "It's on the butt cheek of his scrubs. He didn't wear underwear. That's why it really shined down to me."
I mean, yeah.
Like, yeah, that'll do it. The nurse had realized that he'd seen that hole for 3 days straight. Dunch apparently had not changed his scrubs all week.
Gross.
Yeah. Kissinger also noticed that Dunch had pinpoint pupils and hardly seemed to blink.
He was tweaking.
While operating on Ufred, Dunch severed one of her nerve roots during a spinal fusion surgery while operating on the wrong portion of her back.
What the fuck?
He twisted screws into another nerve, left screw holes on the opposite side of her spine, failed to remove the disc he was supposed to remove, left surgical hardware in her muscle tissue so loose that it moved when it was touched, and despite several warnings from his colleagues that he was not doing the surgery correctly and was attempting to put screws in muscle instead of bone, Dunch persisted. Ufred was left paralyzed, and she later recalled waking up in excruciating pain, a quote 10 plus on a scale of 1 to 10.
Jesus, man.
Several people who were in the operating room for Ufred's surgery suspected that Dunch might have been intoxicated, recalling that his pupils were then dilated.
Nobody thought to get the fucking, like, the head surgeon or, like, the medical director of the hospital at any point and just be like, I don't care what the fuck you're doing, but you need to get the fuck down here right now. Like, right now.
Yeah. No.
Like, this guy's going to kill somebody again.
A second time, yeah. Longtime spine surgeon Robert Henderson performed the salvage surgery on Ufred. When Henderson saw the imaging from Dunch's surgery, he was certain that there would be legal action and had the salvage surgery recorded. He likened what he found when he opened Ufred up to the result of a child playing with Tinker toys or an erector set. Henderson described Dunch's surgery as an assault and concluded that Ufred would have been bedridden from the had this salvage surgery not been performed.
Jeez.
He then discovered that one of Ufrid's nerve roots, which is a bundle of nerves coming out of the spine, was completely gone, and for some inexplicable reason, Dunch had amputated it.
Why? Just to do it?
I fucking guess.
Okay.
So, not only did this man do a total of less than 100 surgeries, then he went on to just not know what the fuck he was doing.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how that works.
So, that's good. That's great.
Kind of hard to make good judgments when you're super high on coke.
Yeah. So Henderson later recalled wondering if Dunch was an imposter. He could not believe that a real surgeon would botch Ufrid's surgery so badly. He felt that anyone with a basic knowledge of human anatomy would know that he was operating in the wrong area of Ufrid's back. Henderson sent Dunch's picture to the University of Tennessee to determine whether he had a degree from the institution, and received confirmation that Dunch, in fact, did have a degree from them.
Mm-hmm.
He called Dunch's fellowship supervisor in Memphis, as well as the supervisor of Dunch's residency. It was then that he learned about the incident that had led him to be referred to the impaired physician program. Despite both of his surgeries at Dallas Medical Center going catastrophically awry, hospital officials did not report him to the NPDB.
Again.
At the time, hospitals were not required to report doctors who only had temporary privileges.
What? Mm-hmm. I hate this.
Not required.
I hate everything about this.
Not like, oh, they just can't do it. It's not something they can do. They're just not required to, so they just didn't.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of work to try to save people's lives, you know.
Yeah.
I have to talk on the phone with somebody, and I just don't, you know.
God forbid you fucking report him to the MPDB where, you know, the 2 surgeries he's done have already not been good. He's killed someone.
Yeah.
And then he's also maimed someone.
Yeah.
And they just said, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. How many before we continue, how many pages do you got left? Okay. Well, inside baseball, just curious.
So, after leaving Dallas Medical Center, Dunch received privileges at Southampton Community Hospital in Dallas, and also took a job as at an outpatient clinic named Legacy Surgery Center, which is now the Frisco Ambulatory Surgery Center in Frisco. While there, he damaged patient Jeff Cheney's spinal cord, leaving him without feeling on the right side of his body. He damaged patient Philip Mayfield's spinal cord, drilling into it and leaving him partially paralyzed from the neck down. After undergoing physical rehabilitation, Mayfield was able to walk with a cane, but did continue to experience paralysis on the right side of his body and in his left arm. He also reported shooting pains throughout his body. He did pass due to COVID-19 in February of 2021. According to his wife, he had been vulnerable to the virus due to complications caused by Dunch's botched surgeries.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, his immune system probably wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
You know, it was already pretty severely weakened. So,
and, yeah, it's just...
Shit's...
it's just insane. Like...
Yeah.
All of this.
2 of his victims died in 2021.
Yeah.
Because of complications.
Mm-hmm. Another one was while attempting to remove degenerated discs in Marshall Tech's Muse's back, Dunch left surgical hardware floating between the spine and the muscle tissue.
How the fuck do you do that?
I don't know.
How do you just like leave it there?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't understand how he's done any of this.
No.
Muse woke up in considerable pain, obviously, but Dunge convinced him that it was normal. He then prescribed Muse so much Percocet that a pharmacist refused to fill the prescription. How much fucking Percocet do you have to prescribe someone for a pharmacist?
How much?
to
So
refuse it?
listen, Tex. I'm thinking that like 200 to 300 like milligrams, 200 to 300 pills of 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah, like I
It's
don't,
like something that just kills fucking like elephants.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
Muse had then spiraled into an opioid addiction because of being prescribed Percocet that had cost him his wife and his job. He later recalled that he read about Martin's death on the day before surgery, but Dunge cursed him out when he called to ask about it. While operating on Jacqueline Troy, Dunge cut one of her vocal cords and an artery that and also damaged her trachea. Troy was left barely able to speak above a whisper, had to be sedated for weeks, and had to be fed through a feeding tube for some time as food was getting into her lungs.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Despite this, Dunge was retained by Southampton when new owners bought it and renamed it University General Hospital.
Great.
Yeah.
Fuck University General. Fuck Dallas Hospital. Literally, all these other hospitals are.
All these hospitals are fucking garbage.
They're fucking garbage.
We're not doing this. After this, though, I believe there were changes. I think it's in here too. Of just, nonetheless, none of this should have happened.
Yeah.
But because this happened, things were changed.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand like if this was like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
but it was like within the last couple of years.
This is within the last 10 years
Yeah.
that this case, like,
I
for
don't know,
his
dude.
trial and everything, less than 10 years.
Yeah.
When Dunge applied for privileges at Methodist Hospital in Dallas, the hospital queried the NPDB. Soon afterwards, he severely maimed Jeff Glidewell after mistaking part of his neck muscle for a tumor during a routine cervical fusion, severing one of his vocal cords, cutting a hole into his esophagus, and slicing an artery.
Again?
Again, different
Wow.
person. Dunge stuffed a surgical sponge in Glidewell's throat to staunch the bleeding. However, he closed Glidewell with the sponge in place, despite others in the operating room warning him about it. He left a sponge in a man's neck.
I hate this story. I hate everything about this.
This story makes me so unreasonably upset,
Yeah.
and just not even unreasonably. It just makes me so upset, and then it's fucking disgusting. Like
No,
everything
it
that
is.
this
It's
doctor has
disgusting.
done.
Yeah, no, it's not only, I mean, the gross malpractice is disgusting, but it's mainly just terrifying that he went on this long.
Yeah.
Like you know, like a serial killer, you look at it and it's like, oh, they're a depraved human being who does this for sexual satisfaction. But this guy is just a fucking idiot who is somehow skating through life, just smoking people with no due regard.
I feel like, honestly, he does qualify as a serial killer, whether he was intentionally trying to maim people or kill people or not. Like, I mean, he's killed two people. He's a psychopath, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
This man, honestly, I feel like all of these surgeries, like, he was trying to kill people.
I
Maybe not intentionally.
I mean, I don't think he was intentionally trying to kill people. I think he just he's not very good at his job. You know,
He has absolutely...
when he has to be the very best.
Yeah. He has absolutely zero knowledge of any human anatomy.
Yeah.
Also, mistaking a neck muscle for a tumor?
It happens. No,
It does not.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't happen at all.
Simply does
No,
not.
it's fucking absurd.
So there was pus pouring out of Glidewell's neck, along with his saliva. Kirby had said in a docuseries, Dunch left the sponge in because if he pulled the sponge out, Mr. Glidewell would have bled to death. But, that's not like a long-term solution kind of thing. Kind of got to fix your problem.
Yeah.
Maybe stop the bleeding. The sponge triggered a severe bloodborne infection that caused Glidewell to become septic. When the other doctors discovered the sponge, Dunch refused to return to help to remove it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty on brand.
After several days, Kirby was brought back in to repair the damage and later described what he found after opening Glidewell's back up as the work of, quote, a crazed maniac. As he later told Glidewell that it was clear that Dunch had tried to kill him. Glidewell was left with only one vocal cord, permanent damage to his esophagus, and partial paralysis on his left side. Kirby claimed that it looked as if Dunch had tried to decapitate Glidewell, and contended that such a botched surgery, quote, has not happened in the United States of America before. Glidewell was reportedly still suffering the ill effects of Dunch's operation years later and has undergone more than 50 procedures to correct the damage.
Damn.
Yeah. At one point, he was only able to eat small bites of food at one time, and he proved to be Dunch's last surgery.
Thank God.
University General pushed him out soon afterwards.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
I can't believe it took this long.
Took way too long.
Way longer than it fucking should.
Way longer than it should have, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like after the first 2 surgeries, probably should have investigated him.
Probably.
Dunch worked a total of 5 different hospitals and surgery centers, spanning a total of approximately 2 years, from the summer of 2011 to the summer of 2013. The facilities that employed Dunch include the Minimally Invasive Spine Institute, Baylor Regional Medical Center at Plano, Dallas Medical Center, Legacy Surgery Center, and University General Hospital.
Just real quick, I just want to say a big fuck you to the Minimally Invasive Spine Institute, Baylor Regional Medical Center at Plano, Dallas Medical Center, Legacy Surgery Center, and the University General Hospital. You can all go fuck yourselves. Thank you. I don't know what to tell you. That's like, if you work there, I want you to burn that place to the fucking ground.
Honestly.
Please.
So despite killing 2 patients and maiming 31 others, none of the above-mentioned facilities reported Dunch to the MPDB.
What?
Literally, just how do you not? How do you not report this man?
They didn't go to the practitioner data bank and go, this guy's killing people.
No.
They didn't do that? Weird.
It only took 33 bad surgeries.
This could have been
deaths.
very quickly shut down. After the fucking maiming of the second person, they could have been like, can we get this guy checked out, please?
Yeah,
let's just check him out just a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead they're just like, nah, just don't do crazy surgeries.
Yeah, they were like, just do like minimal surgery.
Like
Just do,
tiny,
ones.
like tiny surgeries. Just like
do like easy surgeries.
easy surgeries.
Easy neurosurgery.
Yeah. I'm gonna drill a hole into their head. And like, no.
Yeah, right.
Don't.
He's like, I know I specialize in neurosurgery, but what if I was a brain surgeon? Just for today. Just for the one.
Yeah.
I have 0 practice in doing it, but I think I can figure it out.
I think we can put like a small little blow-off valve in the side of their head, and every time they get a headache, they can just psst. No.
So Kirby wrote a detailed complaint to the Texas Medical Board calling Dunch a sociopath who was, quote, a clear and present danger to the citizens of Texas. Under heavy lobbying from Kirby and Henderson, the Texas Medical Board suspended Dunch's license on June 26 of 2013. Lead investigator on the case later revealed that she wanted Dunch's license suspended while the 10-month probe was underway, but board attorneys were not willing to go along with it. took more than 6 months and multiple catastrophic surgeries before anyone reported Dunch to the state medical board. And then it took another year for the board to investigate, all while Dunch was still operating.
Oh, my God.
Board chairman Erwin Zeitzler later said that complications in neurosurgery were more common than most laymen believe. And it took until June of 2013 to find, quote, the pattern of patient injury.
Okay.
With 33 patients injured,
Yeah.
and only multiple people at the hospital saying, hey, maybe you should do something about this.
Yeah.
Hey, this surgery's gotten really fucked up. Hey, they're bleeding a lot. Nothing,
yeah.
Nothing at all. So they had to find the pattern of patient injury to justify suspending Dunch's license. He added that many board members found it hard to believe that a trained surgeon could be as incompetent as Dunch appeared to be. It's hard to believe, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
He's not fucking smart.
Yeah.
The board called in veteran neurosurgeon Martin Lazar to review the case. Lazar was scathingly critical of Dunch's work. For instance, he upbraided him for missing the signs that Martin was bleeding out, saying that, quote, you can't not know that and be a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
And he's right.
He's correct.
So the Texas Medical Board then revoked Dunch's license on December 6th of 2013. Dunch moved to Denver, Colorado, and went into a downward spiral. He declared bankruptcy after listing debts of over $1 million. Because, why use your $600K salary to put your debts
Well, $600K
down?
buys a lot of Coke. So.
Yeah. So he was arrested for a DUI in Denver, taken for psychiatric evaluation in Dallas during one of his visits to see his children, and was arrested in Dallas for shoplifting.
Okay.
So that's part of his downward spiral. I mean, so when this pisses me off too. When Dunch's patients tried to sue him for malpractice, because there were patients who tried to sue him while he was still practicing, many found it impossible to find attorneys. Since Texas enacted the tort reform in 2003, which reduced the amount of damages plaintiffs could win, the number of malpractice payouts per year has dropped more than half. In March of 2014, 3 former patients of Dunch's, Mary Uford, Kenneth Fennell, and Lee Passmore, all filed separate federal lawsuits against Baylor Plano, alleging that the hospital allowed Dunch to perform surgeries despite knowing that he was a dangerous physician. Texas Attorney General and current Governor Greg Abbott filed a motion to intervene in the suits to defend Baylor Plano, citing the Texas legislature's 2003 statute that placed a medical malpractice cap of $250,000 and removed the term gross negligence from the definition of legal malice.
So Greg Abbott's the governor everybody hates, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm
For good reason.
Yeah. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah. No, he's a fucking piece of shit.
Texans, I stand with you. I love Texas. Texas is a fucking great state. But I'm just saying, if someone would maybe go and find Greg Abbott and break his fucking legs, I'm just saying, I'm just spitballing, you know?
Actually, I think Greg Abbott has some back pain. I think Dunch should perform a surgery for him.
I have a surgeon for you. Don't worry. As long as he's somewhat sober, he'll kind of kill you.
Yeah, exactly. So the suit alleged that Baylor Plano made an average net profit of $65,000 on every spinal surgery performed by Dunch.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just fuck Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
To go defend a hospital that's allowing this man to perform surgeries, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah. Fucking Greg Abbott, you piece of shit. More like, Greg, fuck you. I don't know, man. But
More
yeah.
like Greg a butt.
Oh, dude, up top. Yeah, so
My high five.
Up top.
Down low.
You even high five like you're autistic.
Well, you were going to knock your hand down, so I'm trying to catch your hand.
Well, I went to go there and you weren't there, so
Well, you gotta give me a second to get up there.
Can we get on with the story, please? You're really bringing down the vibe about this guy who kills people.
So Henderson and Kirby feared that Dunch could move elsewhere and still theoretically get a medical license. Convinced that he was a clear and present danger to the public, they urged the Dallas County District Attorney's Office to pursue criminal charges. The inquiry went nowhere until 2015, when the statute of limitations on any potential charges was due to run out. Part of the problem was being able to prove that Dunch's actions were willful as defined by Texas law.
Mm.
After interviewing dozens of Dunch's patients and their survivors, prosecutors concluded that Dunch's actions were indeed criminal and nothing short of imprisonment would prevent him from practicing medicine again. As a part of their investigation, prosecutors obtained the December 2011 email in which he boasted that he was ready to leave the love and kindness and goodness and patience that I mix into everything that I am and become a cold-blooded killer.
Oh, shit.
So, that really didn't bode well for him.
Yeah.
Just...
It'd be one thing if he was like a physical therapist or like body trainer guy, people who help people, physical trainer.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm done being nice. I'm ready to be a straight killer. Start fucking just hitting these quads, bro. But instead, he's doing really bad surgeries.
He's a neurosurgeon, so it doesn't really... You can't be a cold-blooded killer and a neurosurgeon. At least you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So ADA Michelle Schugert, who led the prosecution of Dunch, later recalled that Henderson, Kirby, and Lazar contacted her demanding to testify against Dunch. According to Schugert, doctors almost never testify against each other. Mm-hmm. And in an article for the Texas Prosecutor, the Journal of Texas District and Court Attorneys Association, Schugert and other members of the trial team recalled that their superiors were initially skeptical when they presented the case, but eventually found themselves in overwhelming disbelief that a surgeon could do what Dunch was accused of doing. As the trial team put it, the, quote, scary pattern of Dunch's actions became apparent to the others in the office, leaving the DA to get the green light to take the case to a grand jury. So in 2015, approximately a year and a half after his license was revoked, Dunch was arrested in Dallas and charged with 6 felony counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 5 counts of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury, 1 count of injury to an elderly person, and the indictments were made 4 months before the statute of limitations were to run out.
Damn. By the fucking wire, man.
Literally, yeah. The last charge was for the maiming and paralyzing of Ufred. Prosecutors put a high priority on that charge as it provided the widest sentencing range, with Dunch facing up to life in prison if convicted. They also believed that a charge would be easy to prove in court. Dunch had been told repeatedly that he was not placing the hardware in the correct position, and fluoroscopic images of Ufred's surgery proved this.
Nice.
Prosecutors sought a sentence long enough to ensure that Dunch would never be able to practice medicine again. For the same reason, prosecutors opted to try Dunch for Ufred's maiming first. He was held in the Dallas County Jail for almost 2 years until the case went to trial in 2017.
Oh, what a bummer.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Doc.
Maybe you shouldn't have fucking maimed people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're like, you're a surgeon? It's like, is you're a doctor? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, does shit look infected? And she's like, oh, yeah. I don't know what infected looks like, so.
By this time, Dunch was almost penniless, and the judge had to appoint a lawyer for him.
Ha!
Sucker, you get a coin-appointed lawyer.
Piece of shit.
Schugert argued that Dunch should have known he was likely to hurt others unless he changed his approach, and that his failure to learn from past mistakes demonstrated that his maiming of Buford was intentional. Prosecutors also faulted Dunch's employers for not reporting him.
Good.
Obviously. They argued that Dunch was motivated to continue operating because of the lucrative salary of a neurosurgeon that would solve his mounting financial problems, which it didn't, because he ended up $1 million in debt anyways, because he spent it all on coke and probably hookers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably what happened.
Probably.
So, over objections from Dunch's lawyers, prosecutors called many of Dunch's other patients to the stand in order to prove that his actions were intentional. According to his lawyers, Dunch had not realized how poorly he performed as a surgeon until he heard the prosecution experts tell the jury of his many blunders on the operating table.
Huh. What are you talking about?
He just says, I don't know.
Everybody else is like, you're doing a terrible job. And he was like, no, I'm not. And when he gets into court, they're like, you did a terrible job. And he goes, me? What?
What?
When?
When?
No.
Never.
It wasn't. Are you sure? You sure it was me?
Like,
yes, stupid. It was you. That's why we're here. I was like, I don't know. Seems kind of fake.
Yeah. Dunch's defense blamed their client's actions, poor training, and lack of oversight by the hospitals, and that it was never Dunch's fault. Shugart countered that the 2011 emails sent after his first surgeries that went wrong proved that Dunch knew his actions were intentional.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
After 13 days of trial, the jury only needed 4 hours to convict him for the maiming of Buford. On February 20th of 2017, he was sentenced to life in prison. And on December 10th of 2018, the Texas Court of Appeals affirmed Dunch's conviction by a 2-1 split decision. On May 8th of 2019, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals refused Dunch's petition for a discretionary review. The 4 hospitals that employed Dunch have ongoing civil cases against them, or against him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Dunch is housed at OB Ellis Unit outside Huntsville.
There it is. Huntsville, Texas. Yep.
And he will not be eligible for parole until 2045 when he will be 74 years old.
Holy cow.
And that's if he gets parole.
Dr. Death.
Dr. Death.
Wow. Case closed.
That story makes me so fucking nauseous.
I don't like it at all.
I actually hate it.
It made me not feel very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we were supposed to record yesterday, and I was gonna like write an episode for my birthday and be like, we're gonna have fun, it's gonna make crazy. And then Taylor was like, I have this Dr. Death episode, and I was like, we'll just record that. And that was fucked.
It was fucked. But
yeah.
I mean, it was also it's still hard to find a lot of information on surgeons now, even after this.
Yeah.
And that's fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to find more research on your physicians. But
yeah, you probably should. I
guess not.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Haunts, Graves, and Omens. If you had a fun time listening to that, you're a sick fuck. You're a sick fuck. Marty.
Oh, I forgot Marty was here. He's been so quiet over there.
Yeah, he's been really quiet. Marty, did you like the episode? Okay. So, but if you had fun listening to the episode, or if you enjoyed it, found it interesting, not so much fun, found it interesting, I should say.
Yeah.
Check out other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this, dude, or on here on YouTube. You know, if you're watching it on YouTube, that's really cool. Give you a little kiss. Mwah, just like that. But be sure to follow us on our socials at HGOPodcast on Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us on Facebook at Haunts, Graves, and Omens. You can follow me directly on Instagram at IHuntTheHaunted. You can wish me a belated happy birthday, maybe. Yes, maybe. Pass it off today.
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lunar Thrill. That's the only social medias that I really have and use. So.
Mm-hmm. And Marty, you can follow me at Ghetto Feather. At Ghetto Feather on Instagram. He's a sweet boy. You know that?
Yes.
But until next week, we have some ideas floating around in our spooky brains, some weird shit to tell you. But until then, stay spooky.
Stay haunted.
And fuck Texas hospitals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.